In the complex and often turbulent security architecture of the Indo-Pacific, the surveillance gap in the South China Sea has long been a critical vulnerability. For decades, the Philippine archipelago served as a frontline state with a limited capacity to monitor the vast maritime and aerial domains surrounding its territory. However, the operational activation of the JFPS-3ME air surveillance radar system marks a definitive turning point in this dynamic. This acquisition does not merely represent a commercial transaction between Manila and Tokyo, but signifies the arrival of Japan as a formidable provider of high-end security solutions on the global stage. It is a development that warrants a deep technical and strategic dissection, particularly regarding why a developing nation heavily influenced by American military doctrine chose a Japanese solution over established Western alternatives. The historical context of this deployment is profound. Following the relaxation of the three principles on transfer of defense equipment and technology, the Japanese defense industry sought a flagship project to demonstrate its viability in the international market. The contract with the Philippines, valued at approximately $100 million, became that litmus test. It involves the delivery of 4 radar units, comprising 3 fixed systems and 1 mobile unit. The selection of the JFPS-3ME, manufactured by Mitsubishi Electric Corporation, was not an accidental diplomatic gesture, but a calculated decision based on specific operational requirements that Western competitors struggled to match at a similar price-to-performance ratio. Technically, the JFPS-3ME represents a significant leap over the mechanical scanning radars previously operated by the Philippine Air Force. The system utilizes an active, electronically scanned array configuration. Unlike legacy systems that rely on a rotating antenna to sweep the horizon, this solid-state radar employs thousands of small transmit and receive modules that steer the radar beam electronically. This allows for the simultaneous tracking of multiple targets in 3 dimensions without the latency inherent in mechanical rotation. For an archipelago nation facing potential aerial incursions from varying altitudes and speeds, the ability to maintain a constant lock on high-speed fighters while simultaneously scanning for low-flying cruise missiles or drones is an operational necessity. A critical factor that tipped the scales in favor of the Japanese proposal was the engineering adaptation for environmental resilience. The standard JFPS-3 serves as the backbone of the Japan Air Self-Defense Force air warning network, often deployed on windswept, snowy mountaintops in northern Japan. However, the Philippine operating environment presents a different set of challenges characterized by extreme tropical heat, high humidity, and corrosive salt spray. Mitsubishi Electric engineered specific modifications to the cooling systems and protective coatings of the export variant to ensure durability in these tropical conditions. This willingness to customize the hardware demonstrated a level of industrial commitment that went beyond a simple off-the-shelf purchase, assuring the client that the technology would remain operational during typhoon seasons and prolonged exposure to maritime elements. The strategic placement of these assets further illuminates the geopolitical gravity of this cooperation. The first operational site at Wallace Air Station in La Union Province overlooks the West Philippine Sea and, crucially, the southern approaches to the Bashi Channel. This waterway is a vital choke point connecting the South China Sea to the Western Pacific. By installing a sensor capable of monitoring air traffic hundreds of kilometers out, the Philippines effectively closes a blind spot that has existed since the withdrawal of permanent American bases in the early 1990s. For Tokyo, this placement offers a secondary strategic dividend. While the data belongs to Manila, the interoperability of the system implies that the radar network acts as a distant early warning line for the Japanese archipelago itself, monitoring the sea lanes upon which the Japanese economy depends. This leads to the question of interoperability and the broader alliance network. The FPS-3ME is designed to be compatible with Link 16, the tactical data exchange standard used by the United States, NATO, and the Japan Self-Defense Forces. This ensures that the air picture generated by the Mitsubishi radars can be integrated into a larger, common operating picture shared among allied nations. In a hypothetical crisis scenario, the data from these radars could be relayed to American or Japanese assets operating in the vicinity, creating a seamless kill chain or defensive perimeter. This level of integration suggests that the procurement was not just about national defense, but about plugging the Philippines into the trilateral security architecture of the U.S., Japan, and the Philippines. From a market perspective, the success of this project validates the Japanese approach to defense exports, which emphasizes life cycle support over initial sticker price. While systems from manufacturers in the United States or Israel offer immense capability, they often come with complex export restrictions or higher maintenance costs. The Japanese package included comprehensive training and a long-term maintenance framework. This approach appeals to nations like the Philippines that require high-tech capabilities but lack the deep industrial base to maintain them independently. It establishes a model where Japan acts not just as a vendor, but as a technical mentor. However, a critical analysis must also acknowledge the risks and challenges inherent in this development. The introduction of such advanced sensors into a contested zone inevitably alters the status quo. It signals to rival claimants in the region that the Philippines is no longer visually impaired. This could lead to an escalation in electronic warfare tactics, where the new radars become targets for jamming or cyber intrusions. Furthermore, the reliance on Japanese technology creates a supply chain dependency. The operational readiness of the Philippine Air Defense Network is now inextricably linked to the production lines in Japan. Any disruption in Tokyo's political will or industrial output would have direct ramifications for Manila's security. Moreover, the deployment of the mobile variant, the JTPS P14ME, adds a layer of tactical unpredictability. Being truck-mounted, this unit can be redeployed to different islands depending on the threat vector, making it difficult for an adversary to map the defensive coverage permanently. This mobility is a direct lesson drawn from modern asymmetric conflicts, where static targets are easily neutralized. The transfer of this specific doctrine, shoot and scoot, along with the hardware, indicates a deepening of strategic thought sharing between the two nations. In conclusion, the presence of the JFPS-3ME on the shores of Luzon is a manifestation of a fundamental shift in Japanese foreign policy. It demonstrates that the principles of proactive pacifism now include the active arming of like-minded partners to deter unilateral changes to the status quo. For the Philippines, it represents a modernization quantum leap, transitioning from visual lookouts to over-the-horizon electronic awareness. For the region, it confirms that the defense industrial base of Japan has successfully pivoted from a purely domestic focus to becoming a central pillar of Indo-Pacific security. The radar waves emanating from Wallace Air Station do more than detect aircraft. They signal the emergence of a new interconnected security grid that binds the fate of Tokyo and Manila closer than ever before.